we all applied and we all got visas to come over, but we got in on the 147 sponsored work visa.
Dr. CHAMONIX Blanche, ex-corporate and academical, turned CEO and board member of several companies and mother of 4 little extraordinary kids. But it wasn't that long ago that I lacked the confidence, the know-how, and the time to focus on designing and really going after the life that I so wanted to live. A life of freedom, of fairness, and of being fair dinkum to who I really was and what I wanted to get out of this fleeting time that we have on Mother Earth. Fast forward to many lessons learned and moving halfway around the world to the most amazing country, you'll see the life that I now live. One that gives me more safety and freedom than I ever thought would be possible, and that really only existed as a daydream while I was living in South Africa. I created CHAMONIX TV to give you true spot advice on how you can also live a life in this amazing country, and so that you can see how another couple like us now live in Australia with 4 little kids hearing down under. And I'll be providing you with step-by-step strategies so that you can make your Aussie dream a reality too. If you're a keen future Aussie who's looking to create a life that excites you and offers you safety, freedom, and opportunity, you have come to the right place, my friend. Welcome aboard.
Hi Nadine, thank you so much for joining us all the way from beautiful Brisbane today. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
That's good. And how long has Brisbane been Nadine's home? How long have you been calling Australia home for?
Almost 10 years. On the 31st of December, it'll be 10 years.
Oh, wow. So it was almost like a New Year's present to you guys when you came over.
Almost, yep.
Oh, wow. And tell us a little bit about your story. How did it all happen? What made you choose Australia? And I'm assuming Brisbane directly, or did you go to somewhere else in Australia first?
No, we came straight to Brisbane and I've never left Brisbane.
So you're happy there?
I'm very happy in Brisbane. I don't think I can see myself moving anywhere else in Australia, but if I had to choose, I would probably go Perth because of the weather. I don't think I could deal with the cold in Victoria and down south. There's a lot of snow and the cold weather. In saying that, though, Brisbane has got quite high humidity and high temperatures, but fortunately that doesn't last forever. And everyone, we've got a sunshine coast up here as well. And everybody seems to be wanting to move to Brisbane from elsewhere in Australia as well. So
it's not called Sunshine Coast for no reason, because I used to live in the Sunshine Coast for a while, and I know that the sun does shine very often there.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's a beautiful coastline as well.
So whereabout in South Africa did you move from?
I moved from Johannesburg, the south side near Alberton. And prior to that, I used to live in the Eastern Cape.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting move so Eastern Cape to Joburg to Brisbane.
Yes, correct.
And is Brisbane your favorite weather-wise so far?
I think I still miss Johannesburg weather, to be honest with you. I don't like humidity that much, but I love Brisbane itself. So you've got to compromise a little bit here and there. Yeah.
That's true. No place on earth is perfect. And how would you define perfect? What's perfect for you might not be perfect for me.
So to speak, is perfect. Yeah.
So 10 years ago, what visa did you guys come on? And who was on the move with you? Was it only you, or did you come with some other people as well?
No, I was actually in a relationship for 13 years with a guy, and we struggled for 4 years to actually get into Australia. He had a print and he had a printing background, but he was in the die cutting industry for die cutting boxes and specialized packaging. So we tried to get in on on that. He also was in the Air Force. So yeah, at the time when that was on the list for aircraft mechanics, he could have come on through that. But then I think they did away with that, and we had to go to the next step. So we actually tried 3 or 4 times to actually get in, and finally he put his resume up on the internet somehow, and somebody approached him, and he had to. We were actually sponsored to actually come over, and there was a bookbinding company that actually sponsored us to come over, and they wanted to expand into going into doing book covers, the die cutting of book covers, and laminating and that type of thing, which is what he specialized in. So they sponsored us to actually come over, and he had to do a course though, and that was the last year of doing print trade in South Africa, a trade course, I was told, and he passed that, and we got into Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, on his visa. We weren't married. I had 2 boys and he had a daughter, and we all applied and we all got visas to come over, but we got in on the 147 sponsored work visa. Yeah.
So the children were included on your visas?
They were, but I was divorced, and being married first, I had my first child and I lost my first husband. So he could come over, but my second child, he was only 13, and I had to leave him behind because my husband wouldn't allow him to come over.
Mm.
But I applied for him anyway, and I got his grant done. And I thought, well, how do I choose? How do I choose between two children? That was the most difficult decision any mother could ever have to make. And then I had sleepless nights, and that probably sent me a little bit crazy, I think. But to be honest with you, I had to think about the older one as well, and the younger one, strictly speaking, because I thought, well, he's 13. He's not going to be 13 forever.
Mm.
And I thought, if I don't make this move, we'll never get to a safe land, to Australia. I'll never be able to give him that opportunity again. So I made the move and I left him with his dad. But he then later on came over to visit. My ex-husband and I were on fairly good terms, even though he wouldn't let him come and live with me straight away. And when he came over, it was about 3 days before they were due to go back home. And I knew I couldn't push my buttons too much, but I said to him, so is there no chance of, my son coming to live here? And he said, I can't see it, but unless he was to go to a private school. Now, there's nothing wrong with the government schools here, so long as you know and pick your school and do your research. There's nothing wrong with them here. They are nothing like government schools back in South Africa at all. They're pretty damn good. But he had that in his mindset. So I said, fine. I said, in fact, I've done a bit of research already. Do you want to come along and have a look? So we drove there, and I showed him, and he was so impressed. He said, I actually love this school. I'll certainly think about it. Huh. And the next thing he said, just before he left, he said, I'll be sending John over at the end of the year.
Oh, wow.
So happy. So
wow.
I was very fortunate that I only had to wait another 6 months for him to come, more than 6 months, it was 8 months for him to come and live with us. And then my life was more complete. But
so how long were you in Australia before he joined you in total then?
Yeah.
Well, 1 year. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. But
and so
he was my baby.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So yeah. How did John then settle into Australia when he moved over? How old was he then? Did you say?
He was 13. and was turning 14 in June the next year. So
going to high school, essentially.
Yes, definitely, yeah. So he actually settled in not too badly. My oldest son, however, we immigrated at a very, very bad time for him, but I would still recommend it. It doesn't matter. A lot of South Africans, I find, avoid or get panicked about immigrating because their children are in grade 12 or going to be in grade 12 at that time. Now, my son, back in South Africa, we start school a little bit later, so our children are older. They may have changed it now. I'm not too sure, but I kept my son back when he was in grade 2. And therefore, when he was going to be in grade 12 here, he was going to turn 18 in the year he would have been in grade 12. So he would have been classed an adult. You can't go to school here when you're an adult.
So then what did you do?
So we tried to get him into schools and they said, sorry, but he's an adult, so you can't send him to school.
That's bizarre.
It was, it was quite heart-wrenching for us because we didn't know what to do. Actually, I searched the school he was going to go to and everything. And then all of a sudden we thought, well, okay, we'll send him to TAFE. It's like a college. So the college is, you can basically do anything there. You can do a certificate in electrical trade, plumbing, you name it, you can do anything. And he chose to do graphic design. Is he using graphic design now? No. Most children don't use whatever they set out to study in at first. They usually change their path. But he's made a success of himself and he's good at his job and he's very happy. He's moved out of home. He's totally independent, bought himself a car, saving for a house, and I couldn't be more proud of him. So I would say, come anyway. The world, you can do anything you want to.
So what industry does he work in now? Because he studied graphic design. So what's the industry that he changed to?
He then did a dog training course in training dogs, but he didn't want to. He would like to pursue that, but that's not enough regular income, and you have to be really, 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 really good and get a really good reputation, and that's hard to build. To be able to make enough money to be able to sustain a proper living out of it. So he went and got himself a truck driving license and he started off there. And he is driving now for a company, but driving slightly smaller, but he's in warehouse and delivering, and he earns the same as, say, a more qualified person would be earning.
That's the beauty of Australia.
Yeah, that's it.
You can be the guy who mows the lawns, and you would be living next to the doctor who lives next to the engineer, who lives next to the teacher, who lives next to the...
That's one thing about South Africans, I can say that. They're not too scared to try. They're not too scared to try. And I come across it daily with my experiences from my jobs I've had here to what I'm doing now. I can tell you, I see the difference in us.
So tell me a little bit about what you do, Nadine. You obviously work then?
Yes, I do. And I've only just recently, in the last 2 weeks, opened up my own cleaning business. And I tell you what, I'm so busy, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't need more clients. That was 2 weeks ago. So I won't lie, I'm juggling life if you're going to work full time and have little children and, the husband works as well. You are going to struggle with housework as well as eating properly, as well as doing everything together. You may struggle a little bit, but I do want to tell you this. It's not the end of the world. People still find time to go out and enjoy the beautiful sunshine, the parks that we've got here, that I see children playing in. When I first arrived here in Australia, I saw a young teenager walking down the street alone.
Mm.
What? There's a girl walking alone. I couldn't believe my eyes.
And your children, are they now Australians? I'm assuming you've got citizenship?
I don't, actually. That is something I really have to do. When I had been here no longer, just on a year, and my partner actually left me after moving here. And it was a struggle. It was a great big struggle financially for me. It was myself and my two boys. My one was still at school. So I've never had the funds to carry on doing those extra things. My youngest son, his dad has paid for him, and he's actually just done his exam and he's passed. So we're waiting for his ceremony. And now, we went through an agent, the agent that got us here, we went through them. But I think my oldest son and I will apply for our citizenship just through the Australian website and do it, ourselves. It'll be cheaper that way. Yeah.
Congratulations on getting to that step. And wow, how exciting that you're now basically going to call Australia, well, you call it home, but you're going to have the passport, have the ticket to prove that it's your place, and you can't go, they can't force you to go out of Australia if you had to.
There is one I wanted to just raise. A lot of people, once they're here, they're not sure when they're applying for their citizenship, whether to go dual citizenship or just Australian citizenship. Now, it's of my understanding, and I could be mistaken, but I think this is correct because I have read it somewhere. If you are an Australian citizen and you get stuck overseas, be it for anything, it's a war situation or COVID or whatever the situation is, if you're an Australian citizen, Australia will come to your rescue. But if you have dual citizenship, that is not the case. It is up to your original country of residence to help you out. I'm not sure if South Africa would do that.
That's the way I understand it as well, yes. So it is a very real consideration.
Very real.
Have when you choose on your dual citizenship. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your cleaning business, if you don't mind, Nadine? Sharing what's it like? How does it work? How does your day-to-day routine work for your business? What time in the morning do you start, and how many homes do you clean in a day, and what are all the things that you include or exclude, and what do you charge, if you don't mind us also understanding that? Because I think a lot of South Africans, for us, it's not a common concept in South Africa, because cleaning there and cleaning here in a way is quite different in terms of payment.
Yeah, and also what you do as well. So with a cleaning business here, so I got most of my experience from a professional cleaning company on the south side of Brisbane a couple of years back. And what it entails is a lot of people here will either want a weekly clean or a fortnightly clean. But then you also get once-off cleans. So a fortnightly clean is when somebody goes to your house and they will ask, most of the time they'll ask for their showers to be cleaned, their floors to be vacuumed and mopped, their toilets to be cleaned, and sometimes their windows. And the normal thing to do is to go and clean the kitchen countertops. I always do the sinks as well, shine them up nicely like we used to having them back home, with a bit of steel wool, and make them nice and shine. Obviously, if they're plastic, please don't use steel wool.
Thanks, Nadine, for the chat. It's been so fabulous to learn about your whole life here in Australia, how you've moved over. Thanks for sharing your story and for those wonderful words of advice, Nadine. We'd love to talk to you again in a couple of years' time and see how the business is going and how the frog collection has grown, or frog family.
If anyone wants to hook up and need some help in Brisbane getting around or knowing the ropes or anything, please, you're welcome to get in contact with me.
And if anybody wants more cleaning to be done, I know, Nadine, you said you don't need any more people to go. But we'd love to share your details down below if there is somebody in Brisbane, and I don't know, maybe there's a cleaning spot that opens, or by hook or by crook, or Nadine, maybe.
If anyone wants a job to come and clean with me, please.
That's right.
By all means.
Maybe we can play matchmaking for the job. So if you're looking for a job, Nadine is looking for more cleaners because she can't stay ahead with all the jobs that she's got.
Thank you very much. God bless you all. All right.
Thank you too. Bye. Goodbye.
All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you had fun, please remember to hit that subscribe button, and then it'll make sure that you never miss a thing. I'll see you same time and same place next week. Bye for now.